Robert Griffin III insisted on it rather than merely suggesting it. RG3 believes that anything less than Shedeur Sanders starting for the Cleveland Browns is sabotage. RG3 didn't hold back in a take that immediately blazed through sports media. Shedeur is the only thing keeping the Browns afloat. It's not Joe Flacco's injured arm. Not the flashy potential of Dillon Gabriel. Only Shedeur. And people are furious.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
This quarterback debate isn't your normal fan the flames type. Cleveland is experiencing a serious crisis of confidence. A fume-fueled locker room. A team that struggles between self-centered draft choices and the obvious, unadulterated desire of a player like Sanders, who has, incidentally, done everything but plead for the opportunity to lift this team out of the mud. Nevertheless, the Browns' management continues to hesitate. They are so focused on pride, draft status, and whatever performance metrics they believe are still important that they are utterly neglecting momentum, which is the one thing they cannot afford to lose. RG3's tirade wasn't unexpected. It came from seeing this team play as if they had left the building 2 quarterbacks ago. This team needs vigor, even though Dillon Gabriel shows promise and Flacco's name may still be respected in the league. Urgency. A quarterback who plays to ignite rather than merely maintain. In Shedeur, RG3 perceives that. Someone who can enter that gathering and remind everyone of their original purpose. The Browns, though? They are acting as though this is a rebuild year rather than a crisis. The team keeps benching the one player who has the poise, confidence, and leadership spark to turn the season around, while supporters raise their hands and commentators scoff at the coaching staff. The Browns fall further into mediocrity with each minute Shedeur is out of the game. RG3's request wasn't a crazy hot take. A red alert was issued. This dysfunction is not subtle. Cleveland has turned into an example of how to handle a quarterback situation poorly. Not enough vision, too many voices. The locker room is already shaken, but there is too much fear of upsetting everything. And it's evident. Players appear haphazard. The coaching staff appears to be paralyzed. And admirers? They're worn out. Sanders is the future because everyone can see it. However, Cleveland is merely delaying the inevitable until he is given the starting position. Robert Griffin III has officially had enough, and he's not keeping quiet about it. In a move that set the internet on fire, RG3 passionately demanded that the Cleveland Browns start Shedeur Sanders at quarterback, immediately. Not next month. Not once he's ready. No. And just like that, the NFL world split in half. Some fans cheered. Others? Absolutely lost it. The backlash came hard and fast, but RG3 doubled down. His argument? Shedeur Sanders is the spark this dead-in-the-water Browns team desperately needs, and continuing to sideline him is a disaster in slow motion. This isn't just a quarterback controversy, it's a full-blown identity crisis. The Browns are stuck in the most predictable loop of NFL dysfunction. A carousel of quarterbacks. Confused coaching decisions. A team that looks like it's playing with the weight of 1,000 regrets. And right in the middle of it all? A potential game-changer, rotting on the bench. RG3's impassioned call-out wasn't some hot take for clout, it was a direct challenge to Cleveland's front office. He wasn't just advocating for Shedeur's start, he was questioning why it hadn't already happened. And when you zoom out, it's hard not to ask the same thing. Because let's be real, this team isn't working. The offense is sputtering. The locker room energy is flat. The body language on the field? Defeated. If you didn't know better, you'd think the Browns had already given up on the season. And yet, the one player who could inject some actual life into the offense, someone who could rally the squad and bring belief back into the building, is still warming up the bench behind. Dillon Gabriel and Joe Flacco? It's almost poetic in its absurdity. RG3 didn't mince words. He slammed the coaching staff for dragging their feet. He criticized the front office for playing politics with the depth chart. And most importantly, he questioned how many more games Cleveland has to throw away before someone admits what's obvious. Shedeur Sanders is the future, and the future should have started yesterday. But it's not just about talent. It's about leadership, swagger, energy. That intangible it factor you either have or you don't. And Shedeur has it in spades. His college tape is filled with moments of clutch brilliance. His command on the field? Legit. The belief he instills in his teammates? You can't coach that. So why the delay? According to RG3, it's pride, politics, and an unhealthy obsession with draft status. Because in Cleveland, starting a rookie like Shedeur, especially one with a big name and even bigger expectations, means admitting that the veterans aren't cutting it. It means swallowing your pride and doing what's right instead of what's safe. But let's talk about what safe has gotten this team. They've got a quarterback room that inspires zero confidence. Dillon Gabriel has flashes but looks overwhelmed. Joe Flacco is, well, Joe Flacco. The veteran presence is there, sure, but the production isn't. The Browns' offense has no rhythm, no identity. It's like they're waiting for someone to take charge, but no one's stepping up. And all the while, Shedeur Sanders is right there, watching, waiting, ready. RG3 painted the picture clearly. Shedeur isn't just another rookie. He's a potential franchise cornerstone. And every week he sits as another week of wasted potential, another game lost to indecision. The Browns don't need safe. They need a spark. And it's not just about football mechanics, it's about the psychology of leadership. A quarterback sets the emotional tone for the entire team. If your leader is hesitant, unsure, or uninspiring, the rest of the squad follows suit. That's where the Browns are right now. Going through the motions. Flatlined. Shedeur brings the opposite energy. He's a competitor. A motivator. A quarterback who believes in himself, and makes others believe too. That kind of emotional catalyst is exactly what this team is missing. But instead of embracing that, Cleveland is hesitating. And RG3 called it out for what it is. A franchise too afraid to admit its mistakes, too stuck in its own ego to pivot. The front office is clinging to its draft picks and veteran signings like security blankets, while the season slips away. And let's be clear, this isn't about rushing someone into the spotlight before they're ready. This is about acknowledging that the status quo is failing, and the solution is staring you in the face. RG3's point was brutally honest. Starting Shedeur Sanders isn't a risk. Not starting him is. Because what happens if this season continues to spiral? How many more losses will it take before someone in that building realizes the team needs more than just scheme tweaks and film sessions? They need belief. They need urgency. And Shedeur brings both. The timing matters here. The longer the Browns wait, the more pressure builds. The worse the record gets, the harder it becomes to rally the troops. But give Shedeur the reins now, and he has a real shot to turn the narrative around. Not just for this season, but for the future. That's what RG3 sees. A chance to ignite something. To finally break the endless cycle of mediocrity and instability that's haunted Cleveland for years. But right now, that opportunity is being wasted. RG3's frustration is shared by a growing chunk of the fan base. Everyone can see it. The offense needs a new leader. The spark is missing. And yet, it's like the organization is waiting for permission to do the obvious thing. Here's the truth that RG3 laid bare. Shedeur Sanders isn't just ready. He's needed. Right now. The longer the Browns delay this decision, the worse it gets. The locker room grows colder. The fan support dims. And the chance to rally the team around something new? It fades. Every franchise has a turning point. A moment where the right move is staring you in the face but you hesitate, and regret it forever. Cleveland is standing on that line right now. Start Shedeur Sanders and you give your team a reason to believe. You give your offense a new identity. You give your fans hope. And if it works, you change the entire trajectory of the franchise. Keep him on the bench and you get more of the same. Slow starts, stale energy, and another season slipping through your fingers. That's the warning RG3 is screaming into the void. He's not just hyping up a young QB. He's demanding the franchise wake up. And the craziest part? He's probably right. Because at some point, Shedeur is going to start. That moment is inevitable. Whether it's forced by injury, desperation, or someone finally growing a backbone in the front office, it's coming. The only question is whether Cleveland makes that move in time to save the season, or when it's already too late. So here we are. Another week. Another Browns quarterback mess. And a 22-year-old with ice in his veins and a chip on his shoulder, waiting for his shot. RG3's message couldn't be clearer. Stop waiting. Stop posturing. Stop losing. Start Shedeur Sanders. What do you think? Is RG3 overhyping Sanders, or is he dead right and Cleveland's front office is asleep at the wheel? Let's hear it in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into football chaos, celebrity disasters, and the wildest meltdowns across pop culture, hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what's coming next. This isn't just a quarterback debate. It's a mirror held up to a franchise that can't seem to get out of its own way. Cleveland has been here before. Too many times. The names have changed, the jerseys keep selling, but the story stays the same. Hype, hesitation, heartbreak. Rinse and repeat. But RG3 saw the cycle and said, enough. His rant wasn't about playing favorites. It wasn't about trying to go viral. It was about calling out the painful truth that this team is scared to believe in something new. They've been burned so many times, they'd rather stick with the devil they know than take a leap towards something that could actually work. And isn't that the most Cleveland thing ever? You've got Dylan Gabriel, who's fine on paper, but hasn't shown anything close to the command or spark this team needs. You've got Joe Flacco, a veteran name who feels like a nostalgia hire more than a legitimate long-term plan. And then you've got Shedeur. Young, hungry, confident. A kid who doesn't just want the spotlight, he thrives in it. RG3 is looking at all three options and asking the question that everyone's thinking. Why is the obvious choice still the third option? It's not like Shedeur hasn't proven himself under pressure. His college career was built on big moments. He played with poise. He led with confidence. He carried his team not just statistically, but emotionally. That kind of presence translates. And yet, the Browns are acting like that resume doesn't count because it didn't come with a top 5 draft pick or a seniority badge. That's where the politics come in. It's one of the dirtiest secrets in the league. Quarterback rooms aren't always meritocracies. Sometimes it's about who was drafted higher. Sometimes it's about who the GM wants to look smart for signing. And sometimes it's just flat-out fear of rocking the boat. But guess what? The boat's already sinking. Cleveland's current quarterback strategy is a band-aid on a bullet wound. No one's fooled. The fans know it. The players know it. And RG3's viral outburst just said what everyone else is whispering. He basically dragged the Browns front office on national television and said, if you keep waiting for permission to fix this, you'll be watching the playoffs from home, again. And maybe that's what stings the most. The Browns aren't far off. The defense is gritty. The roster isn't broken. But the offense? It's a black hole. A void where leadership should be. And in the NFL you can't fake that. Quarterback isn't just about arm strength and playbook knowledge. It's about momentum, emotion, energy. And right now, Cleveland has none of those things. The only thing they do have is a rookie who, according to multiple insiders, is turning heads in practice, earning respect in the locker room and waiting for someone, anyone, to believe in him enough to pull the trigger. And that's the part RG3 hammered home, belief. He wasn't just talking about play calling or matchups, he was talking about faith. Faith in a player. Faith in the power of change. Because teams don't rise from mediocrity by accident. They rise when someone inside says, we're done losing like this. That's why this debate isn't going away. RG3 lit the match, but the fire's been building for weeks. Every underthrown ball, every stalled drive, every third quarter collapse. It all points back to the same source. No leadership under center. And maybe Shedeur isn't perfect. Maybe he still has rookie mistakes in him. But what's worse? A rookie learning on the job or a veteran mailing it in while the team drifts further into irrelevance? That's what RG3 was trying to say. The cost of inaction is higher than the risk of change. And you can feel that sentiment growing beyond just one analyst's opinion. Players feed off momentum. They rally behind purpose. And the longer the Browns pretend things are fine, the more obvious it becomes that something's rotting at the core. This isn't just about one game or even one season. This is about what kind of team Cleveland wants to be. Do they want to protect egos and draft politics? Or do they want to build a future around someone who can actually lead? Because here's the reality. Shedeur Sanders will start. Maybe not this week. Maybe not even this month. But eventually the team will have no other choice. The cracks in the system are already showing, and when it finally breaks, the spotlight's going to land right on Shedeur. And if he plays the way RG3, and honestly a growing chunk of the fanbase, thinks he can, there's no going back. This isn't a stopgap. This is a shift. The frustrating part is that Cleveland could get ahead of this. They could own the moment, plant the flag, and say, this is our guy. Let's go. That kind of decisive move energizes a franchise. It sends a message that the organization has a pulse, that they're done waiting for miracles and ready to make their own. Instead, it feels like they're hoping someone else makes the decision for them. A bad game. An injury. A locker room revolt. But if you wait for the perfect moment in football, it never comes. You have to make the moment. That's what RG3 was begging them to understand. Because once you lose the locker room, once the belief is gone, you're not just rebuilding a playbook, you're rebuilding trust. And right now, the Browns are teetering on the edge of another wasted year, wondering if this is as good as it gets. It doesn't have to be. RG3's point wasn't that Shedeur is guaranteed to be a star, it's that he deserves the chance to prove it. And holding that back out of fear or pride is a leadership failure, plain and simple. The NFL is ruthless. You either adapt or you get left behind. The Browns have been left behind long enough. So now the spotlight shifts to the front office, the coaching staff, the decision-makers who've been playing it safe while the season slips through their fingers. And if they still don't make a move, the backlash won't just come from former players and media personalities, it'll come from within. Because players want to win. Coaches want momentum. And fans? Fans are tired of the excuses. Start Shedeur Sanders. Give the team a shot in the arm. Give the fans something to root for. And give yourself a chance to salvage what's left of this season before it's too late. Or don't, and keep watching this team spiral while your most exciting player collects dust on the sideline. The choice is that simple. And if RG3's right, that clock is ticking. So what's it going to be, Cleveland? The Browns can't afford to wait anymore. Not just in the standings, not just in terms of playoff hopes, but in the culture of the franchise. Every week they delay, every game they give away with safe choices and tired excuses, they're sending a message. Not just to fans but to the players in that locker room. We don't believe in change. And that message? It kills momentum. It kills buy-in. You think veterans want to go to war every week knowing the coaches are playing politics instead of playing to win? You think the defense, out there busting their asses, holding teams to low scores, wants to watch another lifeless offensive drive sputter out just so the GM can save face? You can't tell grown men to give 110% when you're scared to make a quarterback switch. And Shedeur's not some wild-card rookie who needs to be hidden. He's not raw. He's not erratic. He's ready. You've got RG3, a former NFL quarterback, a guy who knows the pressure of the position, publicly saying Shedeur has it. That he brings something to the table that nobody else on this roster does. That's not a casual endorsement. That's a call to action. Let's talk about what that it factor actually means, because this isn't just about football mechanics or XS and OS. It's about presence. The uncoachable ability to step onto a field, look at 10 grown men in the huddle, and make them believe they can win, just because you're the one leading them. That's what Shedeur Sanders brings. You saw it in college. You see it in interviews. You see it in the way teammates talk about him. And yes, he's young. Yes, he'll make mistakes. But he's got the one thing Cleveland hasn't had in years: authentic leadership at quarterback. And leadership isn't a stat you can track. It's not in a spreadsheet or a scouting report. It's in the way the offense moves when he's on the field. The way the team reacts when he talks. That confidence? That edge? You either have it or you don't. Dylan Gabriel is competent. Joe Flacco is experienced. But neither of them command the emotional center of this team. That's where RG3's plea hit the hardest. He wasn't begging for Shedeur to start because of raw potential or flashy throws. He was begging because this team looks emotionally dead, and Shedeur's the only quarterback who might bring it back to life. It's not complicated. The Browns need someone who can shake them out of this coma. Someone the locker room can rally behind. Someone who isn't just going through the motions, reading off a wristband and checking down to safety valves all game long. RG3's message was loud. You need fire under center, not fear. And right now, fear is running the show. Fear of messing up the depth chart. Fear of backlash from the media. Fear of looking like you were wrong about your veteran pickups. Fear of change. But guess what? Playing scared doesn't win games. It doesn't win locker rooms. And it definitely doesn't fix broken cultures. Cleveland has tried everything else. Draft picks, trades, veteran stopgaps. Just trust the process. And where has it gotten them? Right here. Staring down another lost season. Another quarterback controversy. Another round of maybe next year. The longer they wait, the more it starts to feel like they're not just afraid of starting Shedeur, they're afraid of what it means if he succeeds. Because if he comes in and lights it up, if the team rallies around him, if fans start chanting his name and the offense suddenly remembers how to score, then someone in that building has to answer for why they waited this long. Someone has to explain why the spark was sitting on the bench while the season circled the drain. And maybe that's the scariest part. Because success means accountability. And accountability means facing the fact that playing it safe was actually the riskiest move of all. RG3 saw that. That's why he spoke with so much urgency. It wasn't just about giving a young quarterback a chance. It was about rescuing a franchise from itself. Let's be real. The Browns have talent. A top-tier defense. Some serious playmakers. But they're being wasted. Because without a leader, none of it matters. Without belief, none of it sticks. And belief starts at quarterback. The NFL isn't a video game. You can't just plug in someone with good stats and expect chemistry to magically happen. That's why Shedeur matters. Because he brings emotional momentum. He brings clarity, direction, identity. And right now, Cleveland has none of that. Just indecision. Just confusion. Just another press conference full of vague answers and empty optimism. Meanwhile, the locker room is watching. The fans are watching. And RG3 made sure everyone is watching now. He threw the gauntlet down. He didn't just suggest Shedeur should start, he demanded it. And that demand carried weight because it wasn't just a media take. It was a warning. Make the move before it's too late. Because if this team crashes out of contention, if the offense keeps struggling, if the fans start tuning out, then the blame won't fall on Shedeur Sanders. It'll fall on the people who refused to believe in him when it mattered most. And when that happens, all the "we were just being cautious" talk won't mean a thing. At that point, the story becomes what it always becomes in Cleveland. Opportunity missed. And it doesn't have to be that way. Start him. Give the kid the reins. Let the offense breathe again. Let the locker room feel something again. Let the fanbase believe in something new. Because if you don't, then you've made your choice. You've chosen fear. You've chosen comfort. You've chosen to protect egos over progress. And when that choice blows up in your face, there won't be any sympathy left. Because everyone will remember who said it first. RG3 was right. He saw what was coming. He saw what was being ignored. And he said what the front office wouldn't. Start Shedeur Sanders, or watch this season die a slow, preventable death. So now it's up to the Browns. Do they keep pretending this is fine? Or do they finally admit that the obvious solution has been sitting on the bench the entire time? Because the truth is, they don't need a miracle. They don't need a blockbuster trade. They don't need a magical scheme tweak that'll suddenly make everything click. They just need to stop lying to themselves and start the quarterback who actually gives them a shot. That's it. No more waiting. No more hedging. No more hoping the problem fixes itself. Start Shedeur. Let him lead. Let him fail if he has to. But give him the chance. Because the alternative? We've all seen that show before. And no one's buying tickets anymore. So what do you think? Are the Browns being careful, or are they just being cowards? Drop your take in the comments, and if you're into more drama-packed breakdowns of the NFL's most chaotic storylines, celebrity meltdowns, and just plain absurd moments in pop culture, make sure you're subscribed. Trust me, this is only the beginning.